Hi everyone and welcome to &RC. It's Andrew here with my latest update to my MC8 Cross RC 12 scale truck. As you can see, I have a driver. He is one of the wrestling figures. He comes in about 7 inches tall, maybe a little bit less. And I think he's going to be a pretty good fit. Let's check him out. Yeah, he comes in about 7 inches, a little bit less maybe. I think he's going to be a pretty good fit. Now, what have I been up to since the last update? Well, not a whole bunch on the chassis, I've got to be honest. I do still have my clacky wheel problem, but I have identified what that is. I am going to need to shim at some point on the axle. I'm going to try it between the axle and the wheel pin, the axle pin. If that doesn't really work, I'm going to have to take the axle apart and put it behind the bearing that is sits right at the end of the axle here. And one or the other I'm going to have to do, hopefully the easier of the two. The shims have just arrived today, so that's pretty cool. So I'll be able to get on with that at the weekend. You will also notice that there is a bit missing. There it is. Now I've taken the motor and gearbox out because this is going back to Simon at Green Models. The pulsing that I had discussed on the previous video hasn't gone away and was beginning to be a little bit of a concern. And frankly, you know, this is a premier price and premier quality kit. I don't really want to have too many compromises with how it runs. Terry's was running fine, his MC6, so this really, the same gearbox should have run the same way, but it wasn't. There's a little bit of a pulse on the front drive shaft, the front output. The back was fine, super smooth, but the front, no matter the gear, as if there's a little bit of, I think there might be like a bit of metal or something on one of the bigger cogs inside. So it kind of jumps over that every time and it just pulses the front drive. So it's going to go back to Simon. He said he's going to take a look at it as soon as he gets it and see what's up. So that should be sorted out next week at some point, and we can get back to having a running chassis. Maybe take it out and get it dirty for a bit. So that's the chassis basically. Aside from a motor issue and some axle investigation, it's as it was. Now, what I have been doing is the cab and interior, a little bit of interior detailing and so on. So let's have a little look at that, shall we? Okay, so detailing for the cab. Largely an issue because obviously this build, this version of the truck, you should probably start with this version of the truck, the sort of 2018 release, shall we call it, comes with this one-piece cab. Okay, so you get the engine bay, the driver and cab, the back wall, and this spare wheel holding section there. It's all one piece. There's been no assembly done on this. So these are strengthening elements. They'll come out very shortly. So there is an element of painting outside and painting inside to be done. I think the reality of the situation is that it's an army truck. It was made for the German army. Mine's not going to be an army truck, but it certainly will have been at some point. The interior is probably going to be green. Certainly I'm going to work on that principle and do my interior green. It might have been resprayed, and mine will have been, but whether they would strip the interior down to respray the interior, I very much doubt it. So I'm going to be doing a green interior and I'm going to be doing a grey exterior. So I have been thinking I'm going to build a little bit into the cab, then it's going to get painted. Can't put too much in the cab because basically access to it with the paint can is going to be quite limited. What I have done is put some detail on the back wall. So what I've tried to make is the headrest bar. It's not a very good representation, it's not really meant to be, but that long white is actually the bumper of my Comanche build. which has got a metal bumper on it. That's the bumper that I sawed off the back of the hard body. Cut in a gap, put a gap in, where's my finger? Oh, there you are. Put a gap in this point because the front seat's going to sit here, and then you've got the rear bench seat. But the real trucks, look inside a real MAN Cat truck, it has padding across the back wall for your headrest. So that's what that's going to be. Rough representation of it anyway. And then I've just added a few other bits and bobs, bits of scrap that I've got lying around, just to add something of interest. Alright, so I'm not, I think I mentioned this before in a video I was doing, I don't, at this level, at this purpose, it's an RC truck, it's not a show model, I'm not looking for strict accuracy. I just want something that looks a little bit like something's going on. So, you know, on the video you've got these great big windows at the front, at least there's going to be something going on at the back wall of the cab. Then you're going to have the seats come to about here, so there'll be the seat back, and the driver obviously at the front. So that's what's been going on there. Okay, it's a little bit, access a little bit difficult. Spraying is going to be quite interesting. Spraying that back wall, whether there's anything on it or not, I think it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to spray that without drowning it in paint, or drowning the front in paint as you go past it with the can. So that's a challenge. So if you're going at this angle with the paint can, I'm going to get a great big shadow. So yeah, I'm going to have to think about what I'm going to do paint wise, or how I'm going to do it. So that's that front element. Now I've also, this is the dashboard. So this is going to sit. Right, show you it how it's going to sit. So it's going to go in there. Okay, so it's in like that. It's right up against this thing, right up against the front wall. Alright, it's been difficult to do one-handed. On this flat plate is going to be the kit dashboard, which is, you know, acceptably detailed. It's got a few dials and stuff on it, reasonably in roughly the right places. So that's fine. I'm not going to mess on with that. That's to come. It's in there. It's still on the sprue, I think. But what I've done is I've just added a little bit more. As I say, my truck is not going to be a military truck, so I've added a few bits and bobs that I over this side, just to make it a little bit more interesting, and B, to try and bring it up into the something approaching modern day, what you might have done to an expedition truck sort of thing. So this is actually one of the shop spring mounts. If I show you here, it is the plastic version of this that is supplied in the kit. So obviously I've got the metal ones, but they also give you the plastic ones, and that's all that is. So I've really just, this is just scrounged stuff. I haven't spent any money on any of this. It's just homemade, scratched up stuff. So I've taken that, I've added 4 circles cut from a bit of tube, just some bits and bobs here. There's going to be like some sliders, control sliders, like heating controls or whatever, and some buttons. I've added the end of a zip tie. That's what these all come from. These are all offcuts from a zip tie, and that's the end of the zip tie. You might recognize the tongue bit sticking out there. Just stuck on the side of this combing here. Again, just to add a little bit of interest. It's bolted to the wall, as you can see there. There's the bolt. But obviously there's going to be decals over those 4 circles. Alright, I'm going to stick the dials on once it's painted. You won't see the screw. That and this bit here are 2 bits off James Cameron, who is up here, my Marauder pilot. They came off him. Alright, so as well, this series of figures comes with lots and lots of accessories. So I just borrowed some of his alien stuff that I wasn't using, and clagged it on there and clagged it on there. And to me it looks a little bit like a compass, that white dot. Looks a little bit like it might be a compass stuck on the side there, if everyone to watch the compass. That was my idea anyway. Now this last bit I'm quite proud of, I did this last night, is a sat-nav unit. Again, you might recognise the sort of the bottom of a shock spring retainer that where are we? Here, this bit here is the bottom of a spring, the spring retainer off a shock, some bits of sprue, right angled bits of sprue, and this is the back of a light, back of a spotlight that fitted perfectly into the sprue, so it can sit at a nice little jaunty angle. So that's the sat nav. That's going to sit up there. I have built, where is it? My little tray of bits. I've cut, there you are. I've cut, I can't see when looking for this one. And this is going to be the screen. It's just again a little bit of plastic card. Oh, I can't pick it up. A little bit of plastic card with a sticker, like a big radio sticker on it. So that'll be stuck on when it's all painted, plugged on there. Alright, so it's just going to add with the kit dashboard. I've got a couple of CB radios. They just arrived today. They're up there. So I'm going to have one of these, which was in the Comanche as well. You may remember me talking about that. So this is going to sit. There's the buttons, so that might just sit. I've seen images. Oh, this thing doesn't stand up on its own. So that'll probably sit like that on the dashboard, just under the dials. I don't want to hang it on the roof because I don't really want a lot on the roof here. I'm going to have to put those big windows in and so on. I just don't want accessories stuck on there. I really like some stuff stuck on the window frames, like a fan, like a fan stuck on here to blow cool air in and that. But we've got to pack it in. We've got to know when to stop. And as I've found with some of my stuff that I've clagged on, it's only just fallen off. As soon as the bumpy stuff comes, it all starts falling off. So I'm learning when to stop. I'm trying to be good. So I've done a little bit on this. I'm going to add the radio in, and gonna do a drinks holder. I've those you may have seen our post on Instagram. I've got some scale bottles of water and stuff. So I did find a circular cup holder type thing that I might just stick on and then put a bottle of Evian in it or something. But yeah, but that's where I am. So that's my little update. There really is no more to it than that. A little bit of detailing has been done. 2 nights worth of details being added in, and I'm going to be painting it fairly soon. I mean, fairly soon. It's been cold and wet in the UK, down here anyway in Hertfordshire for a while, so it's not ideal painting conditions. I've got to prep the body, as Tel did, prep the cab, and then I've got to start priming it and then spraying it. So there's going to be quite a lot of dull paint work happening. But as I say, it's going to be grey. I didn't want to, I quite like blue, I quite like some of the more jaunty colours, but it's going to be grey. I think it'll weather well, and I think it will look right, as well as obviously I've got the grey wheels on it, so I don't really want to start getting too much of a contrast going on. I'm tempted to do an orange cab to match the to match big orange up there. I'm tempted to do an orange cab, but I don't know. I don't want to make too big a bolder statement with this. I quite like the military-esque feel to it. It's going to have the command cab on the back some of the time. Remember the command cab for that is going to be on the back, so that'll be green. That I will do army green. So there's a contrast of grey, and then there's this green cab stuck on the back. That's what I'm thinking. So there will be some contrasting paintwork, but just not anything terribly bright and civilian-esque. Yeah, so that's where you're up to. Okay, the next update I should have this sorted out, a running chassis. So that'll probably be the next video update. We'll be watching my sparkling chassis get dirty. So thank you for watching. More and on.